Welcome back to my channel. This is Mental Muse 2.0. This playlist is called Storytime. Right now we have been working on the Debunked series. This is the Debunked series Conspiracy Theories. There is 8 books total in this series, and I have already covered 5 of them. I will hopefully complete all 3, the rest of the 3 today. So I'm going to try to record them all, so beware with me. I lost my voice over the past couple of days, so I'm going to try to get through it, and let's hope for the best, and hopefully they'll all get posted today, if not the latest by tomorrow, but my goal is today, Sunday, to get them posted, so we can be done with this series, and we can move forward. Now, as always, I want you guys to know that, that anything I read or topics I talk about when in this playlist, not necessarily just the Debunked series, but in the playlist as a whole, that you may or may not agree with. I personally may or may not agree with, but I have mainly put this out there because it's simply I'm just reading a book that an author, which is V.C. Thompson, had wrote, and I thought it was interesting to, I guess, put it out there, considering it seems very, it's pretty new. Most of his books have been published in the last 2 years or so, and they have already been out of circulation, which I think was kind of interesting. I don't know why. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I am just going to let you guys know that this is the reason I am putting this out there like this, because I believe it was interesting, because we came across, my daughter came across it in the children's section in a public library nearby where we live, and there was only one available out of all 8 books. I have searched high and low of different public libraries, and nobody has any other books by him. These are only the books he's ever written. I don't know why. Apparently he has a purpose. His bio is always the same. It's very vague. It tells him about who he is, but that's it. He mentions about healing hand and his faith, but that's it. And I think it's kind of funny he mentions faith, which is kind of religious, but also I can't find anything about the actual author himself on the internet, so I don't know. The only way I got a hold of some of these books is many of them I found online through various third-party sellers or old bookstores. They had maybe one random copy, or even Amazon had maybe one available, things like that. But that's the only way you're going to get a hold of it, and don't expect getting a brand new book, because a lot of the books I've received are old books. I mean, they're not old books, but they're books that have been very used. Some are in poorly bad shape. Many of them have old library stickers on them, and they were out of circulation. And I think it's just kind of thinking, I understand how libraries work. Typically, when they're out of circulation, they pull them out of circulation because not enough people are checking it out. Well, it's kind of hard to check out a book like this unless the child is, if you put it in a children's section, which is labeled as a children's book. It's supposed to be formative, give them information, educational, I guess, on a certain, I want to say more of a second to third grade level. But I think, honestly, they, I guess, not enough kids were interested in this topic, or they weren't checking the book out enough to keep on the shelf, which is pretty sad at a public library considering it's free. It's not like they had to pay for it. So I have no idea why a lot of the libraries didn't have the whole series. There's 8 books. I purposely picked them. I did not do them in order according to what's on the back of the book, of the order of the books that they've got listed. I purposely put them in a certain different order. I guess it just seems easier to follow through, follow along and pick up, where we leave off at. But they are interesting. I'm not saying they're not wrong. I'm not saying they're all right. Does have some good information in it. But I personally may or may not believe in a lot of the things that he has, put out there in these books, and you may not either, and your parents may not either as well, and that is okay. That's the whole point of us having our own free will, our own way of thinking and stuff like that. So, being a conspiracy theorist does not mean that you're necessarily always wrong. It does not mean you're always right either. It just means you have a theory, which is meaning that we've learned so far is basically an ideal of a way of thinking about how things are and how we believe those things are. It's almost like a belief system. So I believe G.C. Thompson has placed these books by trying to get as much information as he could and then put it together along with his ideals as well as whatever information he could, like factual information he could actually find that anybody can find, I guess, thanks to Google. But even that, sometimes I personally believe that could still be very convoluted. If you don't know what convoluted means, it means basically very watered down, means that it's possible but not definite. It could be wishy-washy, it's not very solid evidence. So, but as far as these series goes, I have been reading every photo that you see if you're on the screen has been the pictures from the books themselves, except for a picture of me. If I insert a picture of me, it's just me talking, my own personal opinion, my own words, not V.C. Thompson's. But everything else that I will read about or I will say is, and if there's a picture or whatever it is, that is V.C. Thompson's words in the book. So, with that being said, we had just finished about time travel is real, and now I'm getting into the book called We Live in an Alternate Universe by V.C. Thompson. And before I get started, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have permission from your parents, check out your own public library. Maybe you may get lucky. Maybe one of these books may be out there, and you can probably be able to check one out yourself. Or, maybe if your parents want to, you can ask them to, if you're interested in buying these books, interested in wanting to own these books, you can certainly find every single one of them on Amazon, and you're gonna have to hunt for it, though. They may not necessarily be available through Amazon, but they're through other third-party sellers that use Amazon to sell their products. So I'm believing like other bookstores throughout the country. I think, I'm not sure exactly. I think they all came from here in the U.S. So, but yeah. So hopefully you guys will still have enjoyed this series so far, and you continue to enjoy the last 3 books that I'm going to get into today. This one right here is going to be Debunked Conspiracy Theories. We Live in an Alternate Universe. So I hope you enjoy by V.C. Thompson, and let's get into it. So, debunked conspiracy theories. We live in an alternate universe. By V.C. Thompson. About the author. V.C. Thompson is a nurse and author living in Michigan. V.C. is husband to his lovely wife, Anna. Together, they are the proud parents of 2 children, one in heaven and one newborn. His mission in life is to share his faith through the written word and the healing hand. Introduction. The world is filled with mysteries. Mysteries are things or events that cannot be easily explained. Some mysteries are conspiracies. Conspiracies are secret plans made by a group of people. Most conspiracies are stories that have no evidence. Evidence is proof. It is facts or information that supports a claim. Some conspiracies are later found out to be true, but most conspiracies are false. Sometimes it is hard to tell which conspiracies are true and which are false. People who believe in conspiracies are called conspiracy theorists. Theorists are people who explain things with ideas called theories. Most people think conspiracy theories are wrong. Some conspiracy theories are easy to prove wrong. Others are harder to prove wrong. Some are funny. Others are very serious. Some people call conspiracy theorists crazy or stupid. This is hurtful. It is wrong to attack people even if what they think is incorrect. Instead, the conspiracy theory should be examined. To examine a conspiracy theory, look at the evidence. Almost every claim has evidence. What matters is how much evidence there is and how strong it is. This tells us if the theory is true or false. Let's take a look at a popular conspiracy theory. Don't forget to keep track of all the evidence. At the end, see if you can debunk this conspiracy theory yourself. Conspiracy theorists aren't the only people who look for evidence. Police look for evidence too. Mysteries aren't just for TV or books. History is also full of mysteries. One of the biggest mysteries is Jack the Ripper. He was the serial killer during the late 1800s. He was never caught. His identity remains a mystery. Chapter 1. The Premise. The universe is very, very old. Most scientists think it is 14 billion years old. The universe was created with a big bang. At first, there was no matter. Matter is physical matter. Then there was a tiny speck of matter. This speck exploded very fast. Scientists call the creation of the universe the Big Bang Theory. Matter expanded until the planets and stars were formed. In fact, the universe is still expanding today. In 1954, a group of European scientists started an organization. They called it the European Organization for Nuclear Research. We nowadays call it CERN. C-E-R-N. You may have heard this on TV, on other people's videos on YouTube, and other theories about this place, especially here recently. These scientists research how energy interacts with matter. They built a sophisticated machine for this task. Sophisticated means advanced. They called it the Large Hadron Collider. This machine is a big circle. Inside, 2 particles are sped up very fast. Particles are very small parts of matter. The machine makes them crash into each other. This crash creates an explosion. The particles break into subatomic particles. Subatomic means smaller than an atom. An atom is the smallest particle of an element. That's very small. Scientists say that this explosion mimics the Big Bang. Mimic means to copy. On September 10, 2008, the scientists actually made this happen. Some people say the explosion was too powerful, though. They think that it actually made another Big Bang. They think that it created an alternate universe. In fact, they believe it may have created many alternate universes. An alternate universe is the same as ours, but has a few important differences. The World Wide Web was invented at CERN, C-E-R-N, by Tim Berners-Lee. Now, many of you probably have thought that the World Wide Web was made by Bill Gates, or even you probably thought maybe Mark Zuckerberg or something along that nature. But no, the World Wide Web was invented at CERN by Tim Berners-Lee. He invented it so that scientists could easily share data. The World Wide Web is now commonly referred to as the Internet. Spotlight. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 and died in 2013. He lived in South Africa. South Africa discriminated against black people. Discriminate means to treat unfairly. The government was racist. It segregated black people from white people. Segregate means to separate. Mandela fought against this racism and segregation. Many people admired him for this, but the government did not like his work. They arrested him. He lived in prison for 27 years. When he was released, he became president of South Africa. He ended much of the racism and segregation. He was a hero. Many people remembered it differently. They remembered Mandela dying in prison. They remembered reading about his death. They remember watching a news report on his death. Some even remember his funeral in great detail. This is how the terms the Mandela effect received its name. The Mandela effect is when many people share a false memory. Many science fiction stories talk about parallel universes. Parallel universe is another term for alternate universe. Science fiction is imaginary stories written about space, technology, or science. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is an example of science fiction. Movie superheroes are also often lived in alternate universes. But what if alternate universes are real? What if we are living in one? Alternate universes are nearly identical to our universe. How would we know the difference? One way we could know is through our memories. The Large Hadron Collider created infinite universes. Infinite means endless. Many of these universes could have identical versions of us. When the particles collided, you were transported into a different you, but you still have the same memories. That means your memories don't match your new universe. This is why we have false memories. These memories are from an alternate universe. Or are they? There is a great deal of evidence for this conspiracy. Let's examine it further. Chapter 2. Large Hadron Collider. The conspiracy. The science is clear. New universes are created with a small but powerful explosion. After all, this is what happened during the Big Bang. This is also how black holes form. Black holes are areas in space that pull in everything near them. Nothing escapes a black hole's pull. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is part of the U.S. government that studies space. NASA and CERN agreed that the Large Hadron Collider created a black hole on September 10, 2008. What if that black hole swallowed up the universe? What if the black hole exploded? This means it created another Big Bang. Out of this Big Bang came infinite alternate universes. Outer space is cold, but the Large Hadron Collider is colder. It is negative 456.3 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 271.3 degrees Celsius. This theory has been debunked. It is true that the Large Hadron Collider creates tiny explosions. These explosions could create small black holes. In fact, scientists are hoping that this happens. They want to study these human-made black holes, but this has not happened yet. If and when the Large Hadron Collider creates black holes, it is possible for it to create universes. This was a story people created on the internet. It started out as a joke, but some people took it seriously. The machine's collision is meant to imitate the Big Bang, but it is far from being a Big Bang itself. The explosion would have to be much, much bigger. Fabiola Gianotti, the Director General of CERN, famously said that 95% of the universe is unknown to us. Chapter 3. The Mandela Effect. The Conspiracy. Have you ever had a false memory? Everyone has. Is this because we are all living in a different universe? In the real universe, many things are different. For example, many people remember Nelson Mandela dying in jail in the 1980s. The popular children's book series was called The Berenstain Bears. It was not called The Berenstain Bears. In the original Star Wars movie, people remember the line, "Luke, I am your father." In this alternate universe, the opposite is true. Here, Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa. The book series is called Berenstain Bears, and the Star Wars line is actually, "No, I am your father." People say these are all examples of false memories, but how can many people experience the same false memory? These memories may be from an alternate universe, our original universe. Memory is important. We rely on it for simple things like doing chores. We rely on it for complex things like who we are. Our memories help shape our identity. Spotlight. Memory blind spots. Did you know that you have a blind spot? Our eyes take in light. That light carries the image we see. The light hits the back of our eyes, then the eye's nerves send it to the brain. Our brain then creates an image. This is how we see. There is one spot in our eye that cannot take in light. It is called the optic disc. It's where the nerve connects with the eye. This means one part of our vision is always blind. So why don't we see a black spot there? That's because the brain fills in the gap. Your brain guesses what should be there. Usually it is right, but sometimes it is wrong. The same happens with memories. Our memories are not like a video camera. We often forget pieces of the memory. Sometimes our brain fills in the gap with wrong information. This is how false memories happen. Can you think of a false memory you have had? The conspiracy was debunked. The Mandela effect is a real phenomenon. A phenomenon is a fact or event that can be observed. The examples of Mandela and the Bear-Stein bears are also real, but there is an explanation for the false memories of the Mandela effect. False memories happen when an early memory is changed. For example, Stein, S-T-E-I-N, is a common ending to last names. On the other hand, Stain, S-T-A-I-N, is uncommon. People often mispronounce and misread Bear-Stein as Bear-Stein. After hearing and seeing this, people misremembered the name. Their memory was altered. Years later, they see the books again. They cannot believe their eyes. This is because the truth contradicts their memory. Contradict means to go against. These false memories are common, but they are not universal. Universal means common to everyone. Not everyone shares false memories. Some people remember the events as they truly happened. This shows we cannot all be living in an alternate universe. Chapter 4. Deja Vu. Conspiracy. Have you ever had deja vu? Deja vu is the sense of having already experienced the current situation. It means already seen in French. Perhaps you remember having had the same exact conversation before. Maybe you swear you remember having met a stranger before. These are examples of deja vu. Many people will say these are false memories. But what if they really are memories from the alternate universe? How else can you explain the memories? Studies show that excessive travel can cause more deja vu experiences. Excessive means a lot. Deja vu used to be considered as a supernatural experience. Supernatural means beyond nature and science. So this conspiracy has been debunked. Deja vu is hard to explain. Almost everyone has experienced it at some point, but scientists have several working theories. One is that the situation is similar to a past experience, but the brain can't grab that memory from that experience in full. This creates that eerie feeling of a deja vu. Another theory is that it's the way the brain copes when it's tired. Usually, deja vu happens when we're stressed or exhausted. Because of this, our brain might take shortcuts. It might fill in memory gaps incorrectly. This is probably why deja vu happens, not because we live in an alternate universe. Chapter 5. Absurdities. The conspiracy. Absurdities. Absurdities seem to happen more and more. Absurd means wild or crazy. Absurd events are happenings that seem too strange to be real. At least, the events seem too strange for the original universe. All sorts of crazy things can exist in alternate universes. For example, a talking turtle could exist in some universes. Clouds might be green in other universes. Some universes might even have flying pigs. Even the craziness we've experienced in this universe is evidence that it's not the original. How did a reality TV star become president? And who could imagine a platypus? Are these absurdities proof of an alternate universe? The first platypus discovered was thought to be a hoax. Hoax means a prank. The dancing plague is another absurdity. This contagious disease forced people to dance. They danced until they collapsed or died. These theories have been debunked. The world is full of wacky things, but this is expected. Countless things happen every day. It is inevitable that at least some will be out of the ordinary. Inevitable means certain to happen. How did Donald Trump become president of the United States? Trump was a rich, successful business owner. He was also a popular reality TV star. Many people were familiar with his name. He had political goals. He also knew how to motivate a crowd. These things made it more probable that he would become president. The platypus is a strange animal. This is true. Even its genes are strange. The mammal's genes also include bird and reptile genes, but this can be explained with science. The animal evolved to match its environment. Evolve means to change over time. Every living creature does this. Strange things do happen, but most strange events, or animals, can be explained. Strange things are not proof of an alternate universe. Spotlight. Consulting. Sometimes we are stumped by questions. Sometimes we can't explain our experiences. When this happens, we should ask others for advice. This process is called consultation. Consultation means discussing something with another person. Usually, this other person is an expert in that subject. For example, Alexander may think 4 times 4 equals 8. Mary thinks 4 times 4 equals 16. They disagree, so they consult their math teacher. The teacher explains that Mary is right. The teacher breaks down the equation. She explains why Mary is right. The same applies to this conspiracy theory. People sometimes have false memories. Some remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. They were shocked to learn he died many years later. They jumped to conclusions. They should have consulted others. They should have asked what others remembered. It is also helpful to consult a reliable source. Reliable sources can be news articles. They can be history books. They can be research papers. Reliable sources use strong evidence. Chapter 6. The Verdict. It's no wonder why people believe in conspiracy theories. There seems to be a small bit of truth behind each of them. The Hadron Collider was designed to recreate a Big Bang. It was designed to create black holes, but the most it can do is create microscopic black holes. Microscopic means smaller than our eyes can see. It never even did that. Many people share the same false memories. This happens because our brains trick us, and not all of us share these false memories. The feeling of deja vu may be weird, but that's all it is, weird. We likely have our tired brains to thank for deja vu, and absurd things happen in the world, but they usually can be explained. Alternate universes don't exist. We aren't living in one. The evidence supports that conclusion. This conspiracy theory has been debunked. Or has it? What do you think? If you'd like to learn more, please check out Margaret J. Goldstein, What Are Conspiracy Theories? If you also would like to learn more, check out Anna Maria Johnson, Debunking Conspiracy Theories. Also, try this. Find your blind spot. Close your left eye. Then stare straight ahead. Stretch out both arms in front of you. Palms should face down. Make a fist. Then extend your pointer fingers and thumbs. Let your thumbs touch. Look at your left pointer finger while moving your right pointer finger. Eventually, the right finger will disappear. This is your blind spot. What absurd things have you seen or experienced? Do they belong in an alternate universe? Write down explanations for why they may not be absurd after all. And have you ever had a false memory? What was it? Consult a friend to see if they share that same memory. Have you experienced deja vu? What was the situation? Today's glossaries are absurdities, things that seem too strange to be real. Atom, the smallest part of an element. Black holes, gravity fields that suck everything into them. Conspiracies, secret plans to do something bad or against the law. Contradicts, goes against. Deja vu, the sense of having already experienced the current situation. Evidence, facts or information that supports a claim. Evolved, change over time. Inevitable, certain to happen. Infinite, endless. Matter, physical material. Microscopic, smaller than our eyes can see. Mimics, copies. Mysteries, things that are unknown or hard to explain. Parallel universes, worlds that are very similar to another world, but having some important differences. Particles, very small parts of matter, such as molecules, atoms, or electrons. Phenomenon, an observable fact or event. Science fiction, imaginary stories about space, technology, or science. Sophisticated, advanced. Subatomic, smaller than an atom. Theorist, people who explain things with ideas called theories. Universal, common to everyone. And that today, my friends, is the end of the Do We Live in an Alternate Universe Conspiracy Theory Debunked. If you would like to check out this book, I would suggest you to look online. It'll probably be your best bet. You could also find it probably on Amazon and other third-party sellers online, but I advise before you go online, please make sure you have a grown-up, an adult with you at all times, because it's just safer that way. Also, if you like to check out other or listen to other books that I have read in this series, so far we have done The Illuminati Controls Everything, The Moon Landing Was Fake, The Reptilian Elite Rules Us, Time Travel is Real, The Earth is Flat, and we just finished We Live in an Alternate Universe. Next up will be Civilization Was Reset. I hope you guys stay tuned and have enjoyed these books. We are coming almost to the very end, and I hope you guys stick around, and I hope you guys continue to listen, and even after we finish this series, because next series up is going to be a little bit more fun, not so educational. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys have a great day. As always, guys, make sure you you can't comment, but like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Bye.